struggle as artists isn't about appeasing the crowd. Rather, it's about tending to the broken parts inside of ourselves. We create things as a reflection of this struggle, to study our perception of self. Ben Wave isn't necessarily a thing you achieve. Rather, it is a state of mind which you constantly strive toward. This all comes from an understanding that ideas aren't static, but fluid, like water. Be like water.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another day of NGS. Today we're going back to Division A, same as yesterday, but with two different teams. It is going to be under Newb management versus Spooky Ghost. Now, let's take a look at the standings, and I'll be completely honest right now, this is a top of the table versus a bottom of the table game right now. So under Newb management, we see them in this pseudo bugged out settings graphic. I don't know why it doesn't work consistently, but they are currently tied in first with 15 points. They have 3 dominations and 1 2-1 victory, so they're doing extremely well this season right now. Hasn't lost a single series, neither has the High Inquisitors. And Spooky Ghost currently sitting at 9th place with 4 points. But what's interesting to me is those 4 points come from a single domination. So it isn't that they've won 4 individual maps 2-1 every week, but they have managed to dominate a team, and that leads me to think that they are going to be quite a bit more competitive. Now for the map picks, they just decided to go to the end and just ban away the last 4 alphabetically. No, I'm sure that's not how they chose it. But the map pick did go to Spooky Ghosts, and they banned away Sky Temple and Towers of Doom. Under Newb management banned away Sky Foundry and Tomb of the Spider Queen. Well, with that, that's basically the intro to the game done. For once, we actually have all the players in the lobby, and Vendrick, like you said, everyone's boss let them leave work a little bit early. Actually, in the call, they said a couple of the players will be slightly late because they just got off work, so they were allowed off on time for once. And that's definitely something new considering how the rest of the week has gone. And Sloth, welcome once again to the stream. Give me one moment. Yeah, I'm continuing to making small, slow improvements to the stream. First of all, with that, I renamed the chatbot a little bit just to make it a little bit more obvious that it is a bot and what it does. And in case you didn't know, that's a new command that I do have. Well, not really a new command. This has existed since the start of this channel. 154 uses so far over, I think, like 5 years. And then on top of that, obviously there's been a lot of support coming in from everyone. So I am commissioning a lot of sub badges. I believe those will be ready tomorrow or the day after, but as soon as they're up, y'all will see. Pause when? Yeah, gonna have to see. We've had a pause every single stream so far. Luckily yesterday's wasn't that long, so it wasn't too bad. But we do have all 10 players in the lobby. Ready check hasn't happened yet, but hopefully should be happening soon. At the very least, everyone's home, everyone's here, and we can get the game going. And most importantly, map number 1 is Brax's Holdout, possibly one of the most fun maps to cast and to play. Well, play if you're ahead anyway, but it causes a lot of fighting. There's a lot of different strategies that you can utilize. Genji's probably going to get banned if anyone plays Genji on either one of these two teams. But should still be a pretty fun game, pretty fun map to watch. But yeah, it's definitely been an entertaining week. We've had a couple players not able to show up. We've had a team straight up not show up at all. So gonna be a ton of fun with that. As the ready check has begun, one of the teams has already said they are ready. Just waiting on the other team to confirm, and we can get it going. Whew. Oh yeah, and one other thing. Thanks to all your support for the previous sponsor, Tiki Solitaire. There will be one gifted sub from the goals we've reached, and I will be sending that out in the right after game number 1. So during the break between games number 1 and 2, if you're lucky, could try and get yourself one of them gifted subs. And that's also why the sub goal is currently +2 instead of +1, just kind of moving it away immediately for that one. You gotta root for UNM since they're your ex-team. Yeah, I mean, always gotta root for whichever team you used to play for. But our new management, they've been performing extremely well this season. Haven't lost a single game so far. Or, sorry, a single series. They've lost 1 map. But I mean, that's still an absolutely fantastic stat. And Division A is definitely getting pretty spicy at this point. I mean, at this point I'm talking about, I may as well move back to the standings. Once it does cycle through it a little bit. I don't know why it goes between 10 and 3. But High Inquisitors and under Newb management both sitting at 15 points, both with the exact same Both with the exact same records too, 3 dominations and 1 2-1 victory. So should be a pretty interesting one, but the players have finally said they're ready, so we should be heading into draft momentarily. And this has probably been the fastest intro to draft we've had this whole week, so I'm pretty happy with it. Only 8 minutes after start time, but with map picks and bans, like, we're doing great. But we are gonna be starting at Brax's Holdout. Should be some pretty interesting bans coming out. Now, once again, my main thoughts is please no more Dahaka. Dahaka got nerfed. Still obviously good whenever a global is needed. But in situations like this on Brax's Holdout where it's a 2-lane map, the dueling presence is more important. Really hope not to see Dahaka. But to be fair, it's typically not seen too often on Brax's Holdout. Usually we'll see stuff like Leoric, even Diva, just anyone that can really fight over in the top side. And speaking of those heroes, Sonya's going to be the first ban coming out from under Newb management. And one small thing about Brax's Holdout that I think a lot of teams do consider for their drafts, but not many talk about it, is this is one of the best maps to have map pick for. Because counters, especially in the offlane, are incredibly important. If you don't have something like the Genji to start, if you don't have something that can gank really easily, being able to have that counter pick, to have that winning matchup in that offlane, really puts you far ahead. And if you pick the map, not only do you get to select this map, you also get that advantageous counter pick in the end. But now the bans are coming through. After that Sonya, we saw Garrosh and Joanna banned by Spooky Ghost, and the final ban from under Newb management will be the Dahaka. I mean, as long as it's not in the game, I'm happy. If it's banned, that's okay as well, as far as I'm concerned. I'm even considering a new emote, just like Dahaka crossed out. I don't know if anyone else would ever use it except for me. I don't think anyone hates Dahaka as much as I do. But Oriole is going to get locked in by Alan by default. And Oriole did get a slight nerf, but I don't think it's that bad. I think Oriole was super powerful in the last patch, and I think this should bring Oriole into a state that's strong, but no longer overpowered, at least not immediately. Obviously can stack quite a bit with that energy well, but once that is stacked up, Oriole will be powerful, but will take more time to get to that powerful state. Now Anduin and Genji locked in for Little Wolf and Rift. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Genji obviously very good at going between lanes, very good at those gank opportunities, and is very powerful on Brax's Holdout. We see it picked pretty often.
I stand ready.
As Vala and Thrall going to get locked in for Lumi and Chromage. And that's a pretty interesting pick as well. So Thrall not necessarily going into the offlane. Definitely going to be going... Could be going into that 4-core as part of the fighting. It's pretty powerful there as well. But this is one of the maps where offlane Thrall does work. But what I am a little bit concerned about right now from both these two teams is neither one of these sides really has good defenders available, or really good defenders available. They don't have something like the Gul'dan, like the Chromie, just something that can take down the Zerg Rush if they are starting to fall behind. And having good defense is pretty important as well. But Uther going to get banned away by Spooky Ghost, and final ban should be coming in from under Newb management. And I mean, there's a lot of the pool they could still try to close out. The tank pool, I could try and get a third ban off that. Could try looking towards an offlaner, and they are going to ban away Chen. Typically played in the offlane, but there has been some talk about playing Chen as a main tank. And specifically on Brax's Holdout, it's very good at maintaining zone control with the Wandering Keg, just able to knock everyone off of the point, able to knock everyone off of the beacon. Even if you are losing the team fight, you will be able to hold on to it for a decent chunk of time. With that, the next two picks, Spooky Ghost, pretty much have to show how they're going to play this composition here. And it is going to be ETC and Junkrat. That's going to be very strong engage for them, assuming it is the mosh pit, and most likely will be the mosh pit. Eric with a K should be able to engage pretty well onto under Newb management. They have a couple of interrupts already. Vala most likely going to have the Rain of Vengeance. Oriole with a detaining strike, and I'm sure they'll get a little bit more crowd control in these last two picks, since their tank pick has not been selected yet, And Thrall definitely cannot fulfill that role despite technically being a bruiser. But it is going to be a Newb and Li Ming. So Newb very good at engage, especially on the targets that are typically really good at escaping, like Genji specifically. So will be a pretty solid pick into that. And Li Ming going to be able to poke out. Neither one of these two teams has too good defense, except maybe the Junkrat with the Riptire heroic. And Hogger going to be the final pick for Sugar. And honestly, I should have expected that. Sugar, I've casted this team before. They love to play their Hogger. They pick Hogger on every single map unless it is banned. I mean, it's a powerful hero right now. Going to be super good. But let's see which of these two teams is going to be able to come out on top in game number 1. All right, and we are back, getting started with game number 1 here between Newb Management and Spooky Ghosts. Once everyone loads in, and once we get past that pause, assuming we get one. There's no reason for me to think we will, but we have had one every other day this week, so why not continue on to that pattern, you know? But I will talk a little bit more about these drafts as well, and I think what's interesting to me is the consistent damage coming out of Spooky Ghosts is going to be a little bit on the lower end. They're going to have a lot of burst capability later on into the game, especially once those heroics are available. But definitely going to be harder in the early game. Genji can deal decent damage, but it's definitely not one of those frontline DPSs wants to hit more to the backline. But at the same time, under Newb Management, they don't really have a very tanky composition. Their only quote-unquote true tank is that a Newb. And as far as tanks go, it is probably the single squishiest tank in the game. But still a tank, don't get me wrong. So again, she will be more successful this time around. Should do pretty well into Lumi's Li Ming as well. But we'll have to see how the game goes on. And interestingly enough, it is Puncturing Arrow level 1 talent coming in from from Lumi. I was talking about AG Silver's Li Ming earlier. But they will get started here. They are going to start aiming towards the bot side. It is 4v4 on the bot side. As Rift just kind of hugging between the two lanes. Thinking where they want to start. If there's anywhere they can get an early pick off. And now AG Silver is forced to jump behind the wall. But now Newb is going to go in. Liddell looking for the play. Rift looking for AG Silver. Allen by default has already healed up AG Silver a little bit. But they're still going to be able to take him down pretty low. And how the fights are going to start coming through a little bit. Rift's right in the backline, going to dash forward and just trying to be a pain to AG Silver. And now they have the concussion mine immediately onto Liddell. And Liddell's in a terrible spot. But with the Impale, going to be able to keep 2 DPSs away. And now Rift trying to DPS in the final grenade. Not going to be enough. Liddell has the shield coming out and will be okay. Quite a bit of fighting here to start, though. And in the meanwhile, we can take a look over on that top side. And once again, Chromage, definitely not the best offlaner if you want to be able to push fast. But in terms of 1v1 dueling, Thrall is incredibly powerful. And once we get into that late game stages where the team fights are really starting to break out, Thrall is incredibly powerful. But now Liddell gonna get hit by the power slide, looking to go back in. Face Melt going to keep Liddell pushed back in. Once again, they're not going to be able to get any kills there, but they are able to deal quite a bit of damage. As Chromage just trying to be a pain to Sugar. We'll throw out the dogs. But it is 2v1 on the top side, so they should be able to take control of this top beacon. But at the same time, it's 4v3 on the bot side, so the bot lane will go into the favor of under Newb Management. And Eric with a K was in a pretty bad spot, but Leap of Faith will keep that cow alive. And it is going to be that healing, that light well as well. So that will be a big part of their healing. Should be able to keep it going. Power slide not going to be able to land onto anyone. But will get hit with a puncturing arrow as Rift trying to sneak onto the point. But Liddell and Allen by default sees it immediately. And that concussion mine is already placed. It's going to be placed into this entrance corner. But it's until it finds someone, it's not going to be too big of a deal. A pretty solid trading back and forth so far by both these two teams as Lumi gets hit into the enemy, but no engage is going to be coming through. Level 4 talents now hit by under Newb Management. Will get matched by Spooky Ghost, and neither side's really been able to take control of this, of any of these points. As Rift just getting onto Chromage and Sugar looking for the angle, but not going to be able to knock anyone back. And We did not notice this, but look at how much damage this top lane wall has taken. Sugar going to be able to finish it off now. There's a bit of a trade happening over to the bot side. Eric with a K going to get low. Same with Liddell. But at the end of the day, everyone's going to be fine. Everyone's just going to walk it off. But this could allow an opportunity for them to start playing aggressively, even though it is 3v4. In fact, Eric with a K going forward onto Liddell. Just going to knock them back, and they do get the first blood on the top side. But we're not going to turn away from here because I do think a fight's about to break out. Bro charge coming in from Liddell. Same with the Impale. And Little Wolf is getting hit so far into the wall. Just non-stop CC chain, and they chained it perfectly. That's going to be a pretty solid win coming out from under new management in the bot lane. But it's still going to be 12% going over to Spooky Ghost. And with that kill top, they also got half of the health of the fort. And I think that's really what's going to matter the most. It'll really be able to benefit them quite a bit. But now they're on to the tank. And Eric with a K just going to get burst down. And the Hungering Arrow build is perfect for that. And on top of that, Lee Mig is perfect for that. Very good hero to pick if you just want to one-shot someone. But now the bot wall is starting to get quite low as well. There is going to be a gang coming in from Rift over to the top side. But Chromage is full HP, so that's really going to be a difficult kill to get. But Sugar, with a striking blow, able to push them back. And Rift jumping in now, going to do a little bit of extra DPS. And when I say a little bit, they're doing a lot. Well, they have the deflect, and one final hit from Sugar will finish it off. And that's going to be another kill top, and probably the fourth. But now with the bot side, they do get onto Little Wolf again. AG Silver going to be able to teleport away. Calidus looking for the damage, but not going to be able to find it. And it's definitely just that trade of top for bottom, but top lane is winning much harder right now as the fort does finally go down. And that's going to be quite a bit of map play that they're going to have open to themselves. They're going to have the passive push. They're going to be able to push it in further. And Sugar already looking for the bruiser camp as they do manage to take down Eric with a K. I think I have maybe seen 2 of the 6 kills. I'm so sorry, but fighting just happening across all parts of the map. Now the Hog Wild is coming through, but the entire roster of under new management is on their way top, trying to get that vision, trying to secure their own bruiser camp, and also looking for that top lane beacon as Sugar going to get taken out quite low, but with the Hog Wild will be able to just jump away. They will be able to get another 4% in favor of Spooky Ghosts. That's all they're going to be able to get for now, and it's pretty close name right now, or pretty close game right now. They're pretty much tied in level. Both teams about to hit level 8. And it's really just a question of who's able to push back the waves in time to get more and more of that beacon progress. And right now it's clearly favoring on Spooky Ghost as Liddell not able to go in, but Detainment Strike does land on Eric with a K. And Lumi just jumping in, trying to get those stacks. Already at 18 Hungering Arrow stacks, which at 6 minutes is pretty solid. And I think that is one of the advantages of taking that build, especially on a map like Brax's Holdout. You will be fighting at all points, but now they have the Bro Charge coming in. Liddell also gets knocked back with a Concussion Mine. With the Impale, will be able to prevent any kind of follow-up, as now they're looking towards this Bruiser Camp. Rift is on their way down, and the real fight's going to be happening up here. And now they're looking for this play, but will have to back away. Now the Bruiser Camp is going to get finished off. Impale is going to come through, and Liddell's going to get caught out a little bit, but with the heals coming out from Alibi Default, will be fine. Eric with a K going to get jumped, and AG Silver will be able to get that kill. It's going to be a 1-0 in favor of under new management, but Spooky Ghosts, at the very least, were able to secure themselves onto that onto the Bruiser Camp. And no one's really finished taking any of these beacons quite yet, but there's a massive wave pushing top. Chromage and Sugar are going to try playing for it, as now Rift just trying to get in the way once again, being an absolute pain. And that's really how you're supposed to play the Genji, especially on this map. Just never be a good time to play against. But now they do have the root, the Chastise on Illumi. No bonus damage over top is going to come through. Alan by default, once again, just able to heal it up with the well. As level 10s are on the horizon, and they are going to be there first, but Little Wolf is going to get jumped upon. Level 10 does come out as they're doing that engage. Concussion Mine just going to push Liddell away, but Little Wolf going to be able to survive that just barely with the help of Eric with a K and Calidus. I think that's how they pronounce that anyway, Calidus. And now there is going to be a gank happening over the top side as Rift goes in with Chromage. They could be looking for the play, but the dogs do come out. Sugar going to get knocked back. But once again, this wall's just taking a lot of damage. And a couple more hits, the Dynamite going to get tossed out, and the wall is gone. But now they're fighting over to the backside, and Liddell is looking for the play. Rain of Vengeance is going to come through, and So many things canceled on that. The Riptire was about to come out, but just before it did get canceled. And now Light Bomb from Rift. They're right onto the main target. Flumi gonna get hit and taken down immediately. Liddell taken down to about a quarter HP, trying to jump away. Rift following with that play. Cocoon is gonna come out, but Colidus not able to get enough damage. Did have the shield coming back, and the heal coming from Allen by default. But with that being said, the beacons have come online. 4% now given to Newb management, but it's still a teamfight victory for Spooky Ghost. They're able to get the kill over on the bot side, as Rift just trying to get in the way, making sure Chromage cannot walk forward. And this is just going to be another close trade. I don't think I've ever seen a game take this long to get any Tshirt coming out, but now they are going in. Liddell going to get knocked into the backline. Eric with a K trying to build a bit of space, but is getting hit. But now Sugar is here on the backline, but they've caught Sugar. But the Hog Wild, perfect timing just before the Rain of Vengeance stun could come in. As Eric with a K once again just walking forward. Second Hungering Arrow is used, so Lumi is going to be on cooldown for now. But not going to matter too much. Both sides are just going to go back and start taking away their siege camps. Chromage going to be able to lock theirs in now. And once again, the fighting can continue over in this bot lane. And it's pretty interesting to me that despite the small map advantage that Spooky Ghosts do have, they haven't really been able to turn it into much beacon progress. They're at 22. They managed to get one extra tick since then. But they do have 5 members looking over towards the bot side. Rift gotta go in, able to get the Light Bomb onto 2 members. And one of them is Lumi. Lumi gotta get taken out pretty low. And with the final shot, will get finished off. And a Little Wolf trying to heal up in the backline as AG Silver looking for that poke damage, looking for the DPS, but just not able to land it. But they, once again, they'll be able to take the bottom beacon, but at that exact same time, they lose the top one. Chromage able to get that. And now they actually onto another player, and AG Silver going to get knocked down. And now Liddell also in a bad spot. The Resurrect is going to come back onto Lumi. I believe that was the Resurrect. Yes, it was. But they have taken control of the bot side. Rift's going to jump back over to the top. And now they're looking to take down the Swall at the same time. But now the Impale and the Stuttering Rain of Vengeance able to take down 2. Just a little bit greedy trying to take those extra cannon towers. And Newb management, they were ready for the punish. And Little Wolf also going to go down. Third member will get finished off. And that'll be all she wrote for this bot lane fight. And that's 3 members down for a whopping 20 seconds. Now Liddell looking towards Rift. They should at the very least be able to take down this Bruiser camp. And I believe Chromage should be able to take control of this beacon, at least for a little bit longer. And that'll definitely make it closer later on. Rift seeing this, but is instead trying to go towards this Bruiser camp. Will get successfully stolen, and level 13s are up right now for Spooky, or not for Spooky Ghosts, for Newb management. So a slight lead, but now Chromage could be getting caught out a little bit here. Eric with a K looking for the play, but just barely not going to be able to land it. As Liddell also looking forward in the brush. But Rift gonna get hit by the Hungering Arrow. Bro Charge not going to be able to land into it either. But this should be it. They finally have control. And Newb management should be able to, as they say that, Sugar has taken control over the top side. But they're in a very good position, already at 82% as Rift walks in and actually not going to get stunned up, just going to dash straight through. And Sugar looking for the play on the backside. Now Eric with a K also here. And this has been one of the hardest games to ever follow with the camera. Both teams are just walking forward. They're fighting at every angle. And now Rift has jumped upon AG Silver. They're looking for AG Silver, but with the teleport, able to get away. And now they have the Bro Charge Sundering coming out as well. And Chromage is one that gets knocked to the backline. Riptire just split up the fight. And Chromage, one more hit. That's all they need. Can they get it? Yes, they can. Now the Mosh Pit is under Liddell, but it gets interrupted by the Entertainment Strike. Resurrect is coming through. Chromage will be right back in. But they have the Root. They have the Chastise. And the Concussion Mine. Chromage will survive for now, but Rift will be able to finish it off. And now everyone on the side of Spooky Ghosts are pretty low. And the damage coming out from AG Silver right now is so high, but with the extra little bit of healing at the end, they will be able to survive. It is 4v5, but the HP bars still favoring Newb management. The healing that Allen by default is able to provide is mattering so much in these team fights. As now Liddell trying to get on to this point, but Sugar's already there. Same with Eric with a K. Gonna use the Impale to push them away. But that's all they're really going to be able to get. And once again, Spooky Ghosts, they win a team fight, but what can they really get for it? Because all of the members of Newb management are basically ready once again. But the fight is happening up here. AG Silver jumps in, but won't get punished for it. And now the point is going to get retaken 82 to 42% as the top side is taken under control by Spooky Ghosts. And the bot side is under control by Newb management. And They're starting to get set up here. They're looking for the play. We're going to zoom out a little bit, but Rift is going to get jumped upon, but with the deflect, with the leap of faith, going to be okay. Sundering going to get used in the backline, but not going to have enough lockdown, not going to have enough DPS. Rift will be able to just chug that stuff. Whatever's in the well, they're drinking it. That's what they want. And Rift will be okay and back on the map immediately. Now one of the camps is going to get finished off, but the Bruiser camp could be the next target. Rift going to immediately go in. Now they have the power slide into the chastise. Do they have the damage zone? Crummage will finally get taken down. Second Rain of Vengeance. Eric with a K to bat spot. Horta bullet over in the backline. As Sugar just trying to build some space. Riptire is going to be coming through. They have the resurrection coming in, but unfortunately no lockdown is available. So it is going to, they're still going to get the experience for the kill, and I think that's important to keep in mind. Even if it is 1-for-1, or 1-for-0 with the resurrect, it's still okay for Spooky Ghost. It will give them that experience. It will give them that extra levels, and they could try and use that as their advantage later on. But once again, neither side really able to take control of the beacons. The resurrect is really coming out strong. But now Eric with the K going to be able to retake onto this top lane beacon, and for a little while they should hold on to 2. So it's going to be a couple extra percent. Not a lot, as Liddell's already here to get in the way, and just a huge game of cat and mouse. Now, this is typically one of those maps where once a team gets ahead, they're able to snowball it and clean up the game pretty easily. But right now, no one's gotten ahead so far. Both these two teams are so close. Now the concussion mine is on the top side with Liddell, and it is going to be 82-48. But now Sugar's already onto this fort, and it looks like they're ready to do a trade because they have the push. They're further up. But unfortunately, the DPS from Lumi and AG Silver should be higher. So it's really going to depend on what they value more. And could we be seeing the start of a base race coming through here? All 5 members are on opposite ends. First fort is going to go down. Second fort is going to be getting hit upon right now. And it will be, at the very least, be that trade of force. But so far, Spooky Ghost, they are ahead. They're going to immediately get started onto the next wall. And slowly but surely take the advantage there. Level 16 is now hit by both teams. And now this is where the fight could begin. Let's pull down this. Let's get the full screen going. And Rift is on the backline, but no crowd control is just that Genji. But now they do have the stuff, and they're able to land it on 2 in the backline, including Al by default. If they're able to take down the story, it would be massive. Now, in the meanwhile, the Sugar just going to get absolutely burst down. Collide looking for that kill onto Liddell, but the Sundering going to immediately cancel it. And Eric with the K, they cannot save them. Eric with the K is just going to immediately go down. And now under Newb management, they will take control. They will get the Zerg Rush in their favor. And it is going to be pushing from the top side. Luckily, that is where the side of Spooky Ghost has the better setup. But at the same time, they're also going to be taking this Archangel. This boss camp is going to be pushing in, likely going to go top as well. So it's going to be a massive push coming in from this top lane. And I was saying earlier, they don't really have a good defense. The only main defense they have is the Riptire, but Riptire's not here, and now Rift might be in a bad spot. But it is the Genji. Will be able to just dash back behind the wall. It's still 30 seconds until they have that Zerg clearing tool. Until then, it's just going to be the grenades getting tossed over the top, looking for any kind of play, looking for any kind of damage. The wall's already gone, and the Zerg have barely been touched. Sugar just going to try to get in the middle of it, doing a little bit of dynamite, a little bit of hog wild. Eric with a K just face melting, just trying to get anything going on. Deflect actually doing a lot of damage to Lumi. Lumi almost got taken down, but that's still going to be the keep. And the Zerg are still quite healthy. The Archangel has not been touched yet. This is going to be a very strong push, and under new management, they could threat to the core. Now the Riptire is coming through, able to deal damage on the backline, and Rift able to take down Lumi immediately. And now Eric with the K just trying to zone everyone away. The Resurrect is coming through for Lumi, and the Chastise is not going to be timed correctly, but that is a good defense. Spooky Ghosts were definitely in a dangerous spot. They will be able to clear everything out, and with that extra kill, at the very least, they were able to buy time on this push, and their own Zerg did do something over in the bot lane as well. They did finish off the wall. And now the question is, what's going to happen after? Eric with a K looking forward. Power slide is going to come through, but not able to land on AG Silver. It's definitely one of the more difficult heroes to lock down, that Li Ming. And now both teams are going to take a little break. They're like, you know what? That was tiring. That was stressful. Let's just take our camps. Let's just slow things down. Let's relax. And they will finish off their Bruiser camp. Both sides are just going to take all 4 camps that are on the map right now. And this is one of those maps where there's typically a pretty long cooldown between objectives, but now Sugar's walking forward. They have the burrow charge coming in from Liddell, not going to land onto anyone. But it is still that building advantage now in favor of under Newb management. And those big team fights, under Newb management's been able to win them quite a bit harder. Spooky Ghosts have definitely gotten the occasional pick, the occasional 2 pick. But because of the Resurrect, they haven't really been able to take advantage of it. And it has definitely been super powerful for them in this game. Under Newb management is in a very good spot. And this top lane is also going to start passively pushing back into them. Now Rift is here with Kalidas to clear this out. And having both DPSs showing on the map, definitely not going to do well for the map pressure they have. But at the same time, when there's no objectives up, when there's nothing really on the map to fight for, I think it's okay. Just trying to get the bigger push out of the way. And once again, the levels are basically even. Very small lead for under Newb management. Barely noticeable as Rift. Gonna poke into the brush. Will spot out Liddell and AG Silver. But now all 5 members of under Newb management, they're playing towards the bottom side. And Spooky Ghosts, to their credit, they're actually providing a lot of pressure, making them have to go the absolute long way if they do want to start playing for that top side. But again, with these passive pushes coming in, the top side will always be in favor of under Newb management, unless Spooky Ghosts can get a team fight in their favor. But at this point, we're 20 minutes into the game. The respawn timers are pretty long, so if they can just get even 1 extra pick after the Resurrect, to either take down Elm by default or take down 2 members, they could definitely get quite a bit happening on the map as Kalidas going to spot them out. Same with the backline. But now Sugar looking for the play. Is going to get the staggering blow, but Elm by default going to be able to sidestep it. And they do have pressure in the bot lane, but again, the wave is building in the top side. They're on a timer to play aggressively. They have to press the go button, or they have to send someone back and kind of give up large chunks of this map. But I think the way they played it is pretty smart right now, where they just took control of the top lane. They're going to be able to grab onto these beacon, at least for a little bit. Going to get 8%. I mean, that's not too bad. And Sugar's going to be able to come back. But because they have control of the top lane now, that's where Sugar's going to be. That's where Sugar's going to be pushing. It's not going to be so easy for them to walk back up top to try and get some kind of play going. And even if they are able to, like they have just now, Sugar's able to rejoin after the push has already happened. So now the question is, both teams are level 20. Do they want to fight for the beacon? Do they want to fight for the boss? Are they just going to keep trading the beacons back and forth? Now, it is going to be a couple of seconds where under Newb management are going to get their own beacon progress. 14-12, but now Rift is going to get jumped upon. And with the Impale, X-Strike used defensively and will be able to jump back. But that's going to be a heroic burn for no heroics on the side of under Newb management. Good trade for them if they're able to capitalize on it. Now, it is a pretty short cooldown. Only, I believe it's 55 seconds total. So if they're able to get something happening, I think those 55 seconds could definitely be big. But right now, we're just kind of going between top, between bot. Neither side's really committing too hard. Both sides are kind of worried to go in right now. And I think that makes sense because whoever messes up next or whoever gets outplayed next is just going to be in a very bad spot. But now the boss has been pulled by under Newb management, but they will back away. That's a massive HP loss. Trying to go for that, though. And now, once again, we're going to flip sides, change places. And it's just been an absolutely full macro game right now. Both teams just trying to get something to happen. Both teams trying to catch each other out. But at the same time, both teams are kind of taking the safer routes. And they've just been perfectly mirroring each other. Both teams going to be on that bruiser camp. And under Newb management, we'll be able to take it just slightly quicker, but less than a second difference. Not going to matter too much. And I am curious how this fight is going to break up. And now they do jump in. Eric with a K. Got to get hit, but Leap of Faith going to get utilized. Eric with a K will survive. Rift will be able to take control of the beacon on the top side. And our new management will be able to take control of the beacon over on the bot side. And I think that's been the closest to a team fight fully breaking out. And now they're just going to continue going back and forth. Just going to clear away this bruiser camp. Rift and Eric with a K definitely going to struggle. And that is one of the weaknesses of Spooky Ghost. They don't really have a lot of wave clear right now, but they are aiming towards that top side. And they know Eric with a K is going to be coming through. They get the jump. Leap of Faith going to let Eric dodge out of that Arcane Orb combo. And Mosh Pit isn't available, so that is a major cooldown that they definitely don't want to do a team fight without, unless they're able to get a very solid pick off. And now the top side is finally under control by Spooky Ghost, and they will be able to get a little bit of time here. But now Rift going in. The trigger has been pulled. Chromage is going to be the target. They're looking for Chromage. Going to be able to knock them back. One more hit from the Dynamite. Will not be enough for now. Sundering is going to come through. Sugar going to get taken down. And Chromage is still alive in the backline. It's still getting healed up and out by default. Just getting really powerful. Chromage will finally go down, but the Resurrect is available, and Chromage will be coming right back in. So it's a 1-0 for under new management. And Chromage just running in super fast, looking for the extra play, but will get stopped on the trap. And now with the beacons almost fully done, Rift is going to buy a little bit of time. 96%. Chromage will be able to come down and grab the last little bit of that because they cannot stay on the map. And the question is there anything that Spooky Ghost can do to defend against this? This is going to be so difficult for them. Liddell could be in a bad spot. They do have the stun. The power slide has come through. Rift looking onto the backline as well. X-Strike onto Liddell. Going to be able to deal a chunk of damage. But with the healing, with the extra shielding, they're going to be more than tanky enough to survive this. And now the Zerg, they're pushing into the bot side. But it looks like Spooky Ghost, they want to keep fighting. They have all of their heroics up in about 5 seconds. Chromage is going to get jumped upon. Rift just trying to DPS. They have the chastise. X-Strike once again going to get used. Sundering, and in the backline, they do have the mosh pit on it too, but no one's there to follow. Eric with the K and Little Wolf and Rift trying to run away, and it's just going to be Colidus trying to pull everything back. And I think it's been a pretty interesting move because what they're doing is they're trying to delay the push that under new management can bring in themselves. It has let Sugar DPS more truly onto the backline. Clyde is just able to throw the grenades onto the backline safely instead of trying to fight underneath this. And now in the meanwhile, Liddell's going to go with the engage, and they have so much damage on the backside, but Liddell barely going to survive, and now they're looking. AG Silver going to get popped. But they still have the Zerg pushing in. The Resurrect once again coming through, and they're not going to be able to get it in time. And the Light Bomb is going to get dodged away by AG Silver with that bonus move speed coming through. Light speed being super powerful and valuable this game. But now the Zerg Rush has been defended. This game is somehow still going. Both these two teams looking for the best. Now Rift jumping onto AG Silver. Gonna get taken down pretty low. But now they're looking onto the play. They're on to Chromage. Chromage gonna get taken down to about half HP as well. Sugar looking for the Hog Wild. Gonna jump forward. No, just barely not gonna have the angle. But now X-Strike over top, and Rift is the one that's gonna get blown up. And now Lumi is gonna be here as well. It is 4v5. Sugar gonna get hit into the cocoon, and Sugar's gonna be in a terrible spot here. And now they don't have Mosh Pit for another 40 seconds as Sugar will get hit. Leap of Faith's going to be coming through, but once again, the fight is split. Sugar going to go down, and it's a 5v3 on the map. The core is open, 40 seconds left. This could be it. This could definitely be the play for them. And especially with Sugar and Rift being off the map, there's not a lot of damage left on Spooky Ghost. It's just going to be Colidus. And the burst damage isn't there. With Allen by default's healing, they'll definitely have enough. Now, if they're able to lock them down under the core, I think that's their only hope left. Riptire gonna come through and will immediately get focused down. Sundering gonna be able to provide that extra little bit of defense, and that will be it. Game number one's going to go the way of under Newb management. And it was a close game for most of the game, but I think it was just a pretty big mental choice. Do you want to go in, or do you want to keep spinning round and round and round and round? And the answer for Spooky Ghost is they wanted to go in. And I think it does make sense that they did that, simply because under new management, they had the extra keep. They had the passive push. The longer that state lasted, the better it was for them. Bit by bit, they were getting that push. But that was an insane game number one. Hopefully we're going to get something similar as we go to a break before game number two. And everyone, be sure to stay in chat because we will be getting that extra gifted sub from our previous campaign. So don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, everyone, and we're here for draft number 2. Battlefield of Eternity is going to be the map of choice. That should be a pretty interesting one, and once again, thank you for Stream Elements for the gifted subs. Now, and I say thank you to Stream Elements, but primarily I do want to thank all of you. That was due to our success with the Tiki Solitaire Tri-Peaks sponsorship. So thanks everyone for participating in that. Now the draft is coming through and pretty similar bans coming out. Under new management going to ban away the Sonya and the Hogger. Only difference is they're going to leave the Dahaka in and they're going to remove the Hogger instead. And Spooky Ghost is going to ban away the Garrosh and the Johanna. So now with that being said, there's going to be 2 new picks going to come through. Vala going to get locked in for AG Silver. And Dahaka is available, but again, this is just a 2-lane map. Though it is slightly taller, there are some advantages, and in the team fight, they're still pretty powerful. But now they're going to start by swapping a little bit. It's going to be Oriel and Thrall going towards Spooky Ghosts instead. Ah, yes, Gamba. Sorry, Oriel. Let's get that going. Who will win? What are the teams? Sorry. Under Newb Management and Spooky Ghosts. Boom. I swear I didn't forget. I genuinely would have forgotten that. All jokes aside. But yeah, that is going to be coming through. And now Karazim and Murden going to get locked in. Out by default and Liddell. Now the Karazim's pretty interesting. Obviously, he's able to deal quite a bit of damage over towards frontliners. That 7-sided strike has so much burst potential, especially at the start of team fights. And an interesting thing, Karazim did just get buffed just a little bit. And the second heroic, the Divine Palm, has also been buffed. That's going to be a pretty solid upgrade coming in from Karazim. And we'll give a little bit of that extra survivability, going to be able to provide a lot more heals. And now Spooky Ghost going to ban the Imperious. Don't want to deal with that. Probably just a poor matchup for Sugar. And it is most likely going to be Thrall in the offlane because Sugar does typically play the offlaner for Spooky Ghosts, though they could obviously swap it out later on. And the Genji is going to get banned away, so Rift not going to be able to play it this time around. And it will be interesting to see what they will be playing later on. Now, Vendor asking DPS Karazim. I think less likely just because Allen by default is the one that's locked it in so far. Obviously that could change. Things can change. Things usually change. But I think that will stay the same. As Hanzo going to get locked in for Rift and May for Eric with a K. Not a lot of race currently on the side of Spooky Ghosts. Hanzo obviously going to be super powerful during team fights. Going to be able to deal a lot of DPS over top. Will definitely be struggling to fight, especially into Vala. Vala's going to be able to take down these Immortals so fast. And now Kira and Stukov going to get locked in for Chromage and for Lumi. So actually, you know what? You were right. It is going to be the DPS Karazim as soon as I called you out on it. And that's why I shouldn't talk about analysis. I'm not very good at it. But it is interesting. It is going to be that DPS. They're going to have that pseudo double healer composition coming in from under Newb Management. Though the Karazim does need a little bit of time before getting online with the damage part. Once the Karazim does come online, I believe it is that level 16 talent, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to be able to deal a lot of damage. And final pick is going to be the Tazadar coming in for Kaleidos. That's going to be a solid pick as well, and it definitely solidifies that they want to fight. They want a team fight. They don't care as much about racing. They want to just fight and call it there. Now with that, let's take the short little break, but right now it's going to be game number 2. All right, and we are in game now. Still loading in, kind of, but it is going to be map number 2, Battlefield of Eternity, between Under Newb Management and Spooky Ghosts. And Under Newb Management doing really well right now in this entire season. At the very least, they've confirmed they're going to win at least one map with every single series they've played. But most likely it is going to be more than that, as they are looking to get another domination. There are 3 dominations and 1 regular victory. Maybe they're going to be able to bring it up to 4. Maybe they're just going to have to get their second regular victory. Or maybe Spooky Ghost is going to be able to bring it back. But now as for talents, it is going to be Puncturing Arrow and Simple Geometry coming out from the 2 main DPSs. And I think that's pretty standard here once again. With level 7, there's going to be so much damage coming out of that Puncturing Arrow onto those Immortals. But it is one of those issues where if you use too much onto the Immortal, you're going to be losing quite a bit of damage. But 4 members of Under Newb management starting out in the top side. Sugar, kind of worried to walk forward as Chromage immediately going to get healed. Sugar should know something's up, as that heal orb is just running between. And Sugar still walks up, and now Liddell looking for the play, is going to be able to land the Stormhammer, but already underneath the gate. And now with the Blizzard coming through onto this lane, they're looking for the wall. So looking for that level 1, not going to work out for Under Newb management, but I mean, they didn't lose too much for it. They haven't wasted too much time for it. But now they're going to be going in out by default, looking for the play. They do have the Stormhammer, but it is going to be on Eric with a K. And they will get a little bit of extra poke over top of all of that with the Stukov's Lurking Arm. But that will just be the reset. And now both teams just going to be clearing out the waves, just going to be trading a little bit of back and forth. And 2 stacks already on Simple Geometry is pretty solid. And I think that's really where they're going to be trying and getting their stacks right now. With 4 in lane, should be able to stack up pretty decently. Already at 3. And 5 stacks for Static Charge. So interestingly enough, it is going to be that Shockray build. And I think the Shockray build is pretty good if you're looking to fight. But now Chroma just 1v1 with Sugar, and Rift is actually sneaking up top. Now I'm wondering if this is to fight against Chromage, or if this is just to try and take the camp. But now it is 4v3 over the bot side, and it does seem like they're pinging it out. But Liddell going to be able to land the Stormhammer, and now they're just going to walk towards the siege camp. So it seems they are aware this is happening. As Chromage and Sugar still kind of brawling back and forth a little bit. Rift gonna try soloing out the siege camp. Blizzard's going to be utilized on the bottom side by Eric with a K. Just trying to buy a little bit of time, and I think that's really all they wanted out of it. But once again, both teams just getting right back into the play and could start looking towards each other. Shocker going to land on it 2 members. So we'll be slowly but surely stacking those up. But speaking of stacks, it's already 3 stacks of Hungering Arrow as well. So that's going to be an extra 18 damage. And I'm actually wondering if anyone in the chat knows. So it is the base 6 damage. Does that get accounted when scaling by level, or does that just stay just an extra base damage upon the regular level scaling? Is now Sugar also getting a decent bit of stacks here from that Chain Lightning. Already at 5, obviously going to get that big reward at 10 and at 20. So already a quarter of the way there for the full reward, as both sides do take their Bruiser Camp. Liddell looking for Kaleidos, and that could be a good target. Allen by default also going to jump through. Now they have the extra stun, and Kaleidos just going to be able to poke them back with the Shockray. But now the Immortals have spawned, and who's going to be able to take it down? At level 5, Adri Silver is not going to be that powerful at taking down the Immortals. We'll need a little bit more time. That level 7 talent's really where they start coming online. But now Liddell looking for the play, and with the wall should be able to keep everyone safe. Little Wolf just going to get the extra healing over to the back line, and now they're on to the May. Eric with the K starting to get pretty low, but with the extra healing, once again, we'll be okay. And the Lurking Arm is being super annoying right now, and Rift getting jumped upon, but we'll be able to dodge away on the Stormhammer. They do have the dogs onto AG Silver. Scatter Shot not going to be able to land. Now Liddell not going to get hit with the Detainment Strike either, and they're just trading back and forth, but neither side able to take the lead in these DPS charts. And AG Silver gets hit really hard by Rift. Liddell pretty low as well, and will be taken down as Sugar able to get the first blood for Spooky Ghosts. And with that, they should be able to secure that halftime. The side of Under Newb management definitely tried to get that, but that's all they can really do right now, trying to get a little bit of extra DPS. And now they are aiming back. Both sides just going to start racing immediately. And again, before level 7, the Vala isn't that strong for it. Sugar and Rift should be able to bring out a decent amount of DPS. And Eric with the K also just trying to get in the way, trying to slow this down. And it should be the first Immortal going the way of Spooky Ghosts. Massive victory for them. Now, how much can they get with this Immortal? I think that's going to be the real question here. And Vendrick, as for which hero, I was referring to Vala's Puncturing Arrow. I'm wondering if that scales later on or not. I don't think it does, but want to confirm. I am quite a noob when it comes to this game's core mechanics anyway. But now the Immortal is pushing in. It is going to be 4 members strong for both teams into the top. Sonic Arrow going to scout out Liddell, who's also going to try and get a little bit of extra push. Eric with a K going to come in with the icing. We're not going to be able to follow up on anything else. It does look like the structure will go down. And there it is. We got it. We got the pause. I shouldn't have been so excited about that. I don't know why I am. I need to simmer down a little. But yeah, we are going to have a pause. Let me quickly take a look what's going on. And it is another router issue. So yeah, I guess that's fun. It's been the theme this whole week. At this point, I'm just used to it. We started off really strong. And then last season, I think I only had 1 or 2 pauses the entire time I casted. Granted, that was only for the last like month and a half. But I mean, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Well, that being said, it's in a pretty interesting spot right now with the game. Where we just got the pause, it did seem like the wall was going to get taken down by the Immortal, but they're not going to be able to get too much else after that. But what's interesting about that is they're still able to get the initial victory, and being able to win any kind of advantage into a Vala early on is so important. Obviously, once that level 7 hits, and both sides are level 7 now, the race is going to be so much more difficult for Spooky Ghost to do. And then the next big power spike happening at that level 20, where the Vala really starts taking over, especially with the race. Can just 3 seconds toss in 3 Hungering Arrows and get probably the entire hero by that point. It's massive, actually. 250 or 150 bonus percent. That's 250% total. You shall ask Petty Officer Google. Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, but it does look like the teams are ready to get going, so we should be heading right back into the game momentarily. Music off. It's time we focus. It's time we head back into the game. Hopefully. Allegedly. Yeah, we are. All right, and we are back in. And let's get this fight going. And now they do have the play coming out from Chrome. What is that? Revolving sweep. I knew that one. But that was 5 members top for a little bit. So Sugar going to be able to get this push. They're actually going to get a little bit of this wall because of that as well. The gate and the top cannon tower both going to get taken out. And these minis are actually pretty strong. Going to get it down to half HP as well. And Sugar immediately going to get started onto that camp. As now it is 3 members top, but the fight could be happening down here. It is Rift and Sugar looking into Chromage. And with the Chain Lightning, Chromage just going to have to back away and give that up. But there is a 3v4 happening in the top side. They are looking to answer onto the siege camp. Do they want to fight for this? And with the lurking arm zoning them away, they wisely just back away. Actually, yeah. Maybe one day I'll keep track of the pause. Hopefully it's just not going to come through. I want to put more attention onto the games. Now Detainment Strike going to pull them back. Eric with a K could be getting jumped upon, but again, it is Eric with a K. It is the May. Not super easy to get jumped upon. As Sugar and Chromage are trading pretty heavily over in this bot side. Could be an interesting little bit to watch for. But now Liddell looking to play aggressively as well. And the Shocker is just going to land damage. And Lumi looking for the lurking arm, but actually going to get hit by the Blizzard instead. And will get stunned out of it. Going back to our stack checker, we're at 65 static charge, 7 simple geometry, 14 echo of the elements, and then 11 puncturing arrows and 62 fatal wounds. So both sides are definitely scaling pretty heavily at this point. But big push coming in on the top side for Spooky Ghost. Both sides just kind of trying to clear away some of these minions, some of these waves. But they will get a decent amount of push. But now can Liddell punish them? As the multi-shot not able to dismount Collidus. And I think that would have definitely been it. That definitely would have been the go button for both teams now. Neither side is level 10 right now, but both sides are close. Eric with a K just trying to be a pain, just trying to get in everyone's way. As both sides are racing, but the level 7 has come through for Under Newb management, so they do have that extra DPS. If Spooky Ghosts want it, they're going to need a fight. And I think Sugar's trying to get that level 10 and will get that heroic. So now this is the opportunity for Spooky Ghost. They have the advantage, but only for a short little while. If they want to get anything done with it, they need to go now. But level 10 will get taken here. Bruiser Camp is going to get finished off last second. As Rift is trying to DPS a little bit back. But again, it is the Hanzo. As Liddell looking for the play. Just trying to zone. Not committing quite yet. Now, interestingly enough, it is going to be the Detainment Strike over top now. 7-sided Strike just dealing so much damage. Stasis is going to come through, and Dragon Strike is dealing so much damage. Aegis Image is going to get knocked down, and the Black Hole is going to prevent Chromage from getting onto the backline. And now it's just Liddell trying to survive. It is the 3v5. Liddell is going to Dwarf Toss away, and the Ice Wall not going to catch anyone else out. But that's still a massive teamfight victory coming through for Spooky Ghost. And it's not over. Alan by default still playing aggressively. Same with Liddell. Liddell even jumping in. But they do have the healer. Alan by default in a bad spot. Getting a hit with the Entertainment Strike, and the final Scatter Arrow not going to land. But that's still going to be the teamfight one. Under new management, they were able to buy a little bit of time, try and get some more of their defenses back. But this will still be the victory coming in for Spooky Ghost. And as I say that, under new management, they don't want to just give it up. They want to keep fighting. But the Immortal is gone. Can they get anything else after that? Alan by default is going to go down. Revolving sweep onto the healer. But Little Wolf has more than enough support. Eric with a K even able to jump out. And Chromage will get finished off. And that's another 2-0 coming in favor of Spooky Ghosts. And now they're in a good spot. Now they're going to have a stronger Immortal with more shield and less players there to defend. But unfortunately, they're also pretty low on health and on mana. So they will have to back up and will have to give away a little bit of this pressure. But that should still be this entire fort going down. And actually, Eric with the K. Crystal Aegis has to get utilized here, but they'll still be able to get the kill. So that is a very solid pick coming through for under new management. Able to punish Eric with the K for stepping out just a little bit too far. And that will slow down the push. In fact, they're looking for another play. Collide is going to be in a bad spot. 7-sided Strike. Dragon Strike on the back line. But it's still not going to be enough. That's going to be a 2-0 going back the way of under new management. The Immortal will get cleared away. But they did manage to take down the fort. They did manage to take down the whatchamacallit. They did manage to take down a good chunk of the wall. And with that, they've gotten a bit over half of a level lead as level 13 now coming through for Spooky Ghosts. And the Siege Camp will get taken by under new management in the bottom side. And the Bruiser Camp still actually available for Spooky Ghosts. I didn't really need to take it last time. And I think it's interesting that they haven't. Because now with this Bruiser Camp, they actually have an opportunity to pressure top. The Siege Camp is there as well. They have the talent advantage. But they are bringing their team members over to the bot side instead. Sugar is trading back and forth onto Chromage. But would be in a pretty bad spot. Lots of members of under new management are there. And with the Bruiser Camp, with the Siege Camp coming forward, this could be an opportunity for Spooky Ghosts to try pushing. As you see on the minimap, they are bringing all of their members up here. Now this could be where the fight breaks out. Now Chromage looking for the play, but not going to be able to find it. The Carnage not able to land onto anyone quite yet, but it's Liddell walking forward, just trying to zone them away. And will get hit by the Chakra Ice Wall. Just going to be used as a zoning tool. Liddell going to be in a really bad spot. And will be forced to jump away, but they're still DPSing. The Siege Camp is still chucking their spears over at this fort. Not going to be able to take it down in its entirety, but it is quite low. 3.5k health. Level 13 is now going to get hit by under new management, so they will be even on talents as this next set of Immortals spawns. But again, for Spooky Ghost, it's more about the team fight. It is the Sundering, not the Earthquake, which I think is pretty interesting. It's going to give them that extra stun. But I do think it will lower the amount of pressure they have. And I think the reason for that is because everyone on under new management has some form of dash. So the Earthquake will definitely have a little bit less value. Now they're getting started immediately onto this. And Simple Geometry has been finished off here. And now Liddell looking onto Sugar. But the Crystal Aegis is going to get thrown down. And now they have the Dragon Strike. Sugar going to be jumping into that direction. Sundering going to split up the fight into two. And the Black Hole into Chromage. Chromage is going to be able to survive. Got to back away. And lots of abilities used, and no one's going to be going down. And Dark Knight, welcome. All you viewers, welcome. Dark Knight, thank you for the raid. You have just joined it in the middle of a team fight. Hopefully, it's going to be pretty interesting now. Rip's going to be able to jump back and not going to get hit by any of those abilities. But bit by bit, the racing is starting to favor Spooky Ghosts. They're doing pretty phenomenally here. Just bit by bit getting a little bit of that extra poke, but they will have to give away this pressure for now. And Liddell and Al by default looking to play forward, and they have the time wall, they have the ice wall, but Al by default just able to jump away, and Eric with a K is not. And they have enough damage to finish off the May. And now things are gonna definitely change, because now you have the opportunity to give the Vala some time with the Immortal, and we all know what that Vala is going to do. Halftime will give a little bit of time for Spooky Ghost to reset. And interestingly enough, there is a massive push happening on the bot side. That fort advantage definitely starting to come through here for Spooky Ghost. Not too much damage onto the structures quite yet, but it will force them back as Sugar gets jumped upon. Crystal Age is used, and now Rain of Vengeance is going to land onto one, but Sugar able to just back away. And now Eric with the K has respawned, trying to get there as fast as possible with that poor dog with a cone. Not even sure what that mount's called, but that's a fun one, to say the least. I didn't even know that existed in the game. But Spooky Ghosts, they got a little bit lucky with their spawn in that it is a defensive spawn. It's hard to play aggressively into it. And Sugar and Rift just going to walk up top and just going to finish off this fort. Now, the Bruiser Camp has been taken by under Newb management at this point. But, I mean, you would definitely rather have the fort. But because of this, under Newb management, they have the inside track. Do they want to fight this? Ice Wall is going to go out, and they do have one of the members. And with the Sunring not going to be used in time. And the entire combo just barely going to go wide. The timing's so difficult, and with the carry sim, it has to be perfect. And perfect, it was not on that attempt. But now, by default, just trying to get a play over into the backside, but it will be the Immortal going the way of under Newb management, and it's a pretty healthy Immortal as well. But that's just the difference of team comps. Spooky Ghosts, they need a team fight, and they need to win that team fight. That's how they win this game. Under Newb management, they just need to not lose a team fight, and they will win the race eventually. And that's exactly what they've been doing here. And that's just the nature of Vala, especially on this map. Just so difficult to play into. Now the Immortal is pretty healthy, pretty strong. But it is still a very healthy wall here in the front. The range form should go down shortly as the dogs are coming through from Sugar. Has the center up in 10 seconds, but now Sugar is getting jumped upon. Crystal Aegis has been utilized. And AG Silver going to get taken down decently low, actually. Just from one hit of that shock ray. Now Ice Wall is going to land, and they do have it on to AG Silver. And AG Silver just immediately going to get burned down. Now Revolving Sweep is coming through. Chromage going to be caught out under and will get taken down as well. They will lose the fort for this, but everything else going the way of Spooky Ghost, and they look to continue. Liddell going to pop the Avatar, but it's still in a bad spot. And with the Dwarf Toss, with the bonus range, will be able to just walk away safely. And now Eric with the K and Sugar does seem to be a little bit of a split call, but it will just be the back button for now, coming out of Spooky Ghosts. But they had the 2-for-0. They had the one team fight. And they will just go up top and take this siege camp. Now they do have almost a full level lead now on the side of Spooky Ghosts. And the Bruiser camp is available if they want to start working towards that instead. As Eric with the K sees Helen by default. Is just kind of trying to run them down, but with no DPS behind, gonna be a difficult play. And it does look like Spooky Ghosts, their main priority right now is to just try and take both of these siege camps, because that Bruiser camp is just safer to take. It's closer to their base, it's closer to their wall. They have more of an opportunity to play around it. But Eric with a K looking to position forward. All the heroic abilities are going to be up soon. Just 3 seconds on the Sun Ring, but Avatar is still down for under Newb management. And they are just running straight top. Both teams are just kind of following each other. Rift could be in a bad spot. Is going to walk through. Revolving Sweep. Rift just going to jump over the wall. But with the extra damage coming out on the back line, Rift is going to be in a really bad spot. Ice Wall not going to be able to cancel the fight. And they're going to take down Rift. But now the teamfight still continuing on. They have the black hole coming through. And Little Wolf trying to survive, but will be the next target. Under Newb management get the 2-for-0. And now, unfortunately, for the start of it, there is not too much on the map. It's just going to be this Bruiser camp that under Newb management could try and secure. But they are getting pushed in into 2 lanes. So this would be a 3-for-3. As Eric with a K does go in. They do throw out the dogs, but Sugar not going to be able to get it. I should learn the actual name. Feral Spirit. But Sugar is going to hit with the Chain Lightning. And with the Blizzard and them just blocking everything away, they're able to deal quite a bit of Sugar walking in super far forward. And will just get burst down. And I'm wondering if that may have been a potential misclick and pathing issue. Because that, I don't know. I'm not going to comment too much further on that. But that is a pretty big kill to get right as the Immortal spawns. It is going to make it 4v5 for the duration of this objective. And they were already late just due to those 2 kills going over to under Newb management right before the spawn. And that's just going to make things worse. I think they're just going to have to give it up and just try to defend. They still have their fort, so this isn't putting them behind. It'll just put them in a state where it's even. But when you had the lead, that's definitely not what you want to see. Now, they will try to get a little bit of poke back onto it right now, just so that they don't have the full shield to deal with. But again, they're not going to be able to get it too low. Rift will get a couple more hits, and with that scatter shot, actually takes down to 23,500. So about a quarter of the health taken down. But yeah, going to be a hard defense coming out for Spooky Ghost. I think this fort is all but guaranteed to go down. The question is, how much more do they lose? Do they lose their wall? Will under new management be able to start a fight? Because they're pretty close to level 20. Getting a couple of those extra objectives would be really big for them. But the combo play of Spooky Ghost, if they're able to land it, they would be in a very solid spot as well. Everything is up and available, and now they are playing forward. They have the lurking arm, and now the silence is going to come through for Sugar. Dragon Strike over top. AG Silver will get taken down. And Allen by default trying to keep the play going, but unfortunately will not be able to. But now the Immortal is still available, will get taken down from the shield, is going to go into melee form. And they're trying to DPS as hard as possible, but I don't think it's doable. This fort will go down. But they did get a ton of DPS onto it. It is just going to be the shield remaining. And that should be it. Spooky goes solid defense. They're able to get the kill. And the Dragon Strike combo coming through is really powerful here. Now under new management, they're going to run straight top. They're going to take that siege camp. And that was a really big defense for Spooky Ghost. Not just because it limits the damage the Immortals was able to deal, but also because under new management, they were going to hit level 20 during that play. Because they were able to take that kill, they're also not able to utilize the level 20 advantage, and it gives Spooky Ghost that time to even it out. They're going to be able to collect their own level 20. There's nothing on the map. They'll be able to just back off, clear this one wave, and that should, well, I guess this is a pretty massive wave, but they'll just be able to clear this wave, and that will get them that level 20, and they will be on an even positioning. As now they do finally walk up, they do get the level 20, and I'll be completely honest, I don't even know what Task Force level 20 does, so I think it's about time I learn. Increase the duration of Force Wall by 5 seconds, restrained by 50, and reduces cooldown by 10. Okay, so it is just going to be adding those extra walls. And I think that's a pretty interesting talent, because they do kind of rely on dodging, and a lot of their abilities do rely on wall usage. And now could be a catch coming through. Liddell going to jump on, but it is Eric with a K, lurking armor in the backside. And now the Crystal Aegis is going to get utilized, and Ribs gets taken out quite low. Dragon Strike splitting up to fight it in two, and Allen by default able to just run away as neither side goes down. But it is going to be 3 heroics used by Spooky Ghost and only 1 from the side of under noob management. But now the Immortals are going to be spawning here soon, and the Feral Spirit is going to land on 2, and Liddell just looking to play forward. And now they have the rotation onto the back line. The stun lands onto every single member, and Rift and Sugar going to be the last to survive. Rift will not survive, and Sugar is the one left to tell the story. But this is a pretty bad spot now. Under new management, they don't need the Immortal. They can just push in now. There's 50-second death timers. The wave is pretty close by, too. They could look to end the game here, and they're jumping onto Sugar. If they take down Sugar, there's no question. But Sugar, at least for now, able to survive. Throws down the Feral Spirit, just trying to buy a little bit of time. Revolving sweep, gonna push them right back into the 7-sided strike. But Sugar able to just barely walk back into the base. Now the keep is gone. Sundering is going to be up in just 5 seconds, but this could be it. Under new management looking for that domination. And the Sundering is going to come through, buys a little bit of time, but I think there's just too little too late. Under new management will be able to take down this game and even look for the stat pad. Will finish off the final member and get that domination. 2-0 for under new management. And it started out as a very close game. Once again, Spooky Ghost, they're showing that they can definitely play. They definitely have some of these mechanics. But at the same time, under new management, really showing why they're at the top of the table right now. This will be another 4 points. 4 dominations and 5 total victories out of 5 games. They're doing extremely well this season, and going to be interesting to see how far in they can continue as the season goes on. Now, that being said, I'm going to look for an interview, so give me 1 moment as I try and get that going. Da-da-da-da. Now, let me get that set up. No, it is set up. Okay, we should be good. Hello.
Hello, I just assumed. You didn't invite, but I just assumed.
I did just throw one out in the chat, but welcome anyway. And for everyone in chat, I am joined here by Liddell, the main tank of under noob management.
Yeah, here I am.
So tell me, another domination, 4th of 5. How does that feel getting that extra 2-0?
It feels good. I feel like us and High Inquisitors have never spoke to each other, but we have a vendetta to compete in the standings this season. So it feels good to get the one up this week and see if they can match it with another domination. So
Yeah, it should be definitely interesting to watch this. Rivalry is definitely slowly but surely starting to form in this Division A. But tell me about that game 1. I think that's the game that's definitely been sticking out the most. Playing a little bit of those musical beacons. What were the comms like? How was it just trying to constantly have the inside track to be able to keep those beacons going?
yeah, not gonna lie. One of the things we actually said, Silver, one of our DPS, he said, "I hope our cast is having fun." When we were about like 4 minutes into a ring around the rosy. So definitely apologize for all the viewers and the cast of having to shot call that mess. But yeah, it was tough. I mean, anytime they have a Genji, it's really tough in those ring around the rosies to kind of maneuver because they have the quicker rotate always as an option, and Genji can kind of go alone and make it out 99% of the time. So that was really stressful. We felt pretty good about getting to the late game, and that's why we weren't too stressed when Chromage was getting a 2v1 top. We felt like, okay, if we get some scaling on Ming and we get some stacks on Vala, we can blow up ETC pretty good in the late game. But yeah, overall, that game wasn't the most comfortable win, but I think Braxis can often be like that, right? Where you never feel fully safe or fully in control unless the game's over at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely one of those maps where if you take an early lead, if you have that early structure, the rest of the game becomes so much easier to play, but neither side really gave up control over those beacons, not fully at any point until really at the last second, and you were able to push that in for the win. So
Yeah.
now for game 2, tell me about that Kerosene pick, having that double healer comp. Is Kerosene meant more as that frontline DPS?
I don't really know how he fits into the meta now with buffs. I mean, that's kind of what we thought of him as previously a little bit. Alan's a very good Kerosene, but at the same time, like if you go damage Kerosene, he's not quite doing the damage you would want from a DPS always, and he's not quite doing the healing you would want from a solo healer. So we kind of pair him with a healer a lot of the time, but that's what this meta hasn't figured out yet. It's like, can you run Kerosene as a slam dunk solo healer in less niche situations than he previously was? Because I mean, the baseline stat buffs are pretty sizable, and that allows you the flexibility that if you do want to go damage Kerosene, that build is still intact, and if you want to go healer Kerosene, that build is still intact because it's all like mostly baseline stuff. So, so yeah, we haven't figured that out yet, but we were pretty confident when we picked the Kerosene that we could have it solo heal or double heal depending on how the rest of the draft went, and then we felt Stukov was pretty good into Oriel there, so that's kind of why we went Stukov.
That is a pretty interesting thing to say, especially considering the hot treatment that it's been getting the last 4 years. Something's not figured out in the meta. Those are golden words to hear from you right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I like the little tweaks they've been doing, and it's just enough, even if it's just kind of baseline stuff, it's just enough to figure out if those little tweaks are enough to change where that character can be. And especially in NGS, the meta is slightly different, so that applies twofold to how it changes NGS dynamics for sure.
Now, kind of going along that train of thought, with all these changes coming through, I want to ask, what are your levels of hopium? Do you think there is a chance that Microsoft or Blizzard could try to revive this game? What's your opinion on that?
Not to be a Debbie Downer after a 2-0 win, but my hopes are pretty low, but I'm hoping that if they release enough of these balance changes, it's enough to keep the current player base afloat. And that's kind of I think that's the most we can hope for, but that is something, right? If they hadn't released anything in 2 years, probably the player base is a fraction of the size of what it is now. So I'm happy with these. I'm a HOTS addict. I've been playing for like 7 or 8, how many years? So as long as they keep this flame alive, which by extension keeps the NGS flame alive a little longer, I'm happy with that. So.
All right, really strong words. I mean, I really like that outlook. Kind of an optimistic look on a realistic situation.
Cheers.
But with that, I have one final question. Are there any shout-outs you'd like to give? Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans out there?
Well, I'll start with an anti-shout-out for myself, because I think I missed like 8 stun attempts in a row in the beginning half of the BOE game on Murden. And it became a running meme that I would scream that was on stream, and I had the yips like I was some shortstop that can't hit first base anymore. So shout out to me there. That was just a horrible performance in the first half of the game, and then I had to go E-build to actually hit stuns. So that's a good scouting for the other team, is just let me play Murden. Shout outs always to the casters. Casters get number 1 shout outs every time. It makes the NGS community twice as good. And then shout-outs, to the team. I think we're running on all cylinders, feeling the best we've felt in seasons, and that's weirdly because we've reduced the amount of practice times we had a week, and maybe I was, forcing my team to come on and play too much. They all hated the game. So now we have a bit of a fresher outlook, and it's paying off for us so far this season 19. So those are my shout-outs, and thank you personally for casting the game, and casting so many Div A games this season, it feels like. So, yeah.
I mean, it's always a pleasure. I mean, I cast a lot of every div. I think I need to count, but I think I'm definitely above 30 casts so far this season. We'll see how many I can hit by the end of the season going forward. But either way, this is about you. Congratulations again on that 2-0. Congrats on your domination, and hopefully you can keep riding this momentum all the way forward.
Yeah. Not that I ever outwardly request a cast, but I hope whenever we face High Inquisitors, that's casted, because that's the team we have circled for the remainder of the season.
All right,
that match.
I'll definitely keep an eye out on that one. I'll let you know for sure. But someone will pick that up. NGS has had so many casters this season. It's been absolutely phenomenal to watch.
Yeah. The casters are killing it this season. Yeah, they're doing great.
Yeah, thank you for the interview, and have a good night.
All right, cheers. Good night.
And with that, we are going to be done here as well. Was a pretty fun day of games, and it was a 2-0, but it was a close 2-0. Spooky Ghost definitely showing under Newb management they can win. They're definitely showing that their team is starting to play more and more cohesively. It'll be a lot of fun to see later on if they're going to be able to kind of turn that into something else. And before I go, since there's really no one to rate, typically I try to rush out just to get you guys going to the next NGS game, make sure there's no action missed, but I'll just take a moment to give a quick shout out to the giveaway I'm doing. !Tshirt in chat. I will be giving away a free NGS shirt in a raffle. All you have to do is click down the viewer rewards below, give away your points to that goal, and once the total points are done, the stream that we hit the points on, at the end of it, I will be raffling away to anyone who's present in chat. It doesn't cost any money to enter. All you have to do to get points is just keep hanging around, keep watching, and I should release the points that I totally forgot to do. Let me just do that as well. Slowly but surely I'm figuring it out, but I'm just trying to get this all going. I'll be honest, I think I've been lacking a little bit in the community aspect for NGS. And that's the next thing I want to focus on. I want to make this as an enjoyable experience for you and not just have a good cast, but also have a good community around the cast. But with that being said, I'm going to go have dinner. Going to go for maybe a nice evening stroll. Thank you all for watching, and I'll definitely be around tomorrow. So see you then, and good night.